In the heart of London, where black cabs hummed and streetlights glowed, Harold lived in a modest but elegant townhouse in Bloomsbury. A retired tailor, he had spent his life crafting suits in Savile Row, but his greatest concern was his son, Edmund, a successful architect. At 34, Edmund was shaping London's skyline with his designs. Yet, despite his success, he refused to settle down, brushing off his father's marriage suggestions with, "I'm not ready, father." Harold, widowed for a decade, knew the joy a loving partner could bring. Margaret had been his anchor, and he feared Edmund's solitary life would leave him unmoored. "You need someone to share your life with," he would say, only for Edmund to change the subject. Desperate to find a woman of true character for his son, Harold devised a plan. He would pose as a homeless beggar to observe the hearts of London's people, seeking a kind soul worthy of Edmund. One chilly morning, Harold donned a disguise and shuffled to a busy corner near Russell Square, a battered cup for coins at his feet, where commuters and shoppers hurried past. He watched the world go by, noting how most ignored him. As rain fell, a sleek Bentley sped through a puddle, splashing Harold with muddy water. Soaked, he heard a sharp voice from the car's window. "You shouldn't sit so close to the road, old man. This isn't a park bench." The driver, Victoria, sped off. Passers-by murmured in disapproval, but Harold stayed silent, his resolve unshaken. The next day, Harold sat outside a bustling supermarket in Holborn, his cup nearly empty, watching passers-by. Victoria appeared, stepping out of her Bentley, phone out for a selfie. Spotting him, she sneered, "You again? Don't you have anywhere else to be?" Her words stung, but he remained calm. Before Victoria could continue, Clara stepped forward with a canvas tote. "That's enough," she said firmly. Victoria scoffed. "Who are you to talk to me?" Clara stood her ground. "Someone who knows respect." "He's done nothing to you." Victoria laughed. "He's a nobody, darling." Clara's eyes flashed. "You're the one who's nobody if you think insulting an old man makes you important." Defeated, Victoria sped away. Clara turned to Harold, her expression softening. "I'm so sorry, sir. Are you all right?" She offered him a bottle of water. Harold thanked her quietly. She sat with him, asking about his life, and when he mentioned sleeping in a doorway, she frowned. "That's no way to live. Can I help you find a shelter?" Touched, he declined. She smiled, promising to return. That evening, Harold returned to his townhouse, still damp but heartened. Edmund, sketching at the dining table, looked up. "You're soaked. What happened?" Harold sat beside him. "I met two women today. One was cruel, the other kind." Edmund sighed. "Why do you wander the streets?" Harold's eyes twinkled. "I'm looking for someone for you, son." Edmund admitted, "I've been seeing someone." Harold leaned forward. "Who is she?" Edmund described Victoria, whom he'd met at a gallery. "She's stunning, but sharp. Spends freely, loves attention." Harold frowned. "Does she respect you integrity and kindness, not pride or superficial beauty?" He knew Clara was special. Over the next week, Harold continued his disguise, meeting Clara multiple times. Each time, she brought something, a coffee, a scarf, a kind word, never asking for anything. She spoke of books and volunteering, her humility clear. He knew she was special. Edmund arranged for Victoria to visit. At dinner, Harold wore his usual clothes, no trace of the beggar. When Victoria arrived, heels clicking, she surveyed the townhouse. "Nice place. A bit old-fashioned." Her smile froze upon seeing Harold. "You, the beggar from Holborn?" Harold nodded. "We've met." Edmund's face paled. "You know my father?" Victoria stammered. "I didn't know he was your father." Harold's voice was steady. "You didn't need to know to show kindness. You chose cruelty." Edmund, hurt, asked, "You insulted my father." "Twice." Victoria's excuses faltered. Harold shook his head. "Kindness doesn't depend on mood. Your heart's empty." Edmund asked Victoria to leave. She fled, tears streaming. The next morning, Edmund wandered to a park near Regent's Canal to clear his head. There, he saw Clara tending a community garden, planting herbs. She smiled. "Morning. Care to help?" Intrigued, he joined her, their conversation flowing, her warmth disarming. Clara mentioned helping an old man, describing standing up to a rude woman. Edmund's heart raced. Could this be his father's kind stranger? Her plan to expand the garden to feed the homeless struck him. "You're different," he said. She laughed. "Just doing good." They exchanged numbers, and he left feeling lighter. Harold, back at his supermarket spot, smiled when Clara approached with bread. "For you," she said. He took a breath. "I need to show you something. Come to my home tomorrow." Curious, she agreed, taking the address he scribbled. The next day, Clara arrived at the Bloomsbury townhouse, awed by its elegance. "You live here?" Before Harold could answer, Edmund appeared, freezing. "You're the woman from the garden," Clara gasped. "And you're his son?" Harold chuckled, explaining his disguise. "I wanted a true heart for my son. You showed kindness when you thought I had nothing." Clara laughed. "You tricked me." Harold shook his head. "Your soul's gold." Edmund stepped forward. "I felt something when we met. I'd like to know you better." Clara nodded, blushing. "I'd like that too." Months later, Edmund and Clara were inseparable, bonding over coffee in bookshops, Thames walks, and volunteering. Harold, no longer a beggar, watched his son find peace. At a family dinner, Edmund raised a glass. "To my father, who saw what I couldn't." Clara squeezed Harold's hand, whispering, "Thank you for trusting me." In spring, Edmund proposed to Clara in the community garden, surrounded by her herbs. She said yes, and Harold beamed, knowing his quest had found not just a wife for his son, but a daughter for himself.